Test, test. Life is good. Thank you for joining us here on another Moringa tea and answers. This one is hot. Might still be too hot. Thank you so much for joining us today. Moringa Tea and Answers brings you all of the prominent answers about the lovely Miss Moringa tree. Wonderful. Well, we're getting live this morning. It's probably about 8 o'clock. Sun's already coming up. And we want to know, what is Moringa? And I think it's time to unwrap my present. Oh yes. So Uncle Bob just put these together yesterday with some of our help and friends. And people are like, what is Moringa? And this is the Moringa Tree Starter Kit. Inside the Moringa Tree Starter Kit it has all of our handmade products that we put together here at the farm. It has Moringa tea. Also, the baggies are in there. It has loose leaf, so you can do exactly what we do here on Moringa Tea and Answers, is give you the answer and you can make tea. You can put about a tablespoon inside there. What we'll do is we also grind the leaves down to make powder. And this is all inside the starter kit. We actually make capsules out of the leaves. We also add turmeric to the green leaves to make spice. We also steep the leaves in alcohol and make an extract. And then what we'll do is and the seeds are also included, and we press these seeds and we make oils. And then inside the deodorant and the salve are the oils, the moringa seed oil. And then we also put moringa seed oil in the bath bomb. You're a tree. And so all of that inside the starter kit. And then if you have more questions about moringa, what is moringa? I tell you all about it in the book that I wrote, and a little bit about me and how I started the Moringa Growers Co-op. You can see we planted thousands of moringa trees on over 300 properties in the Tampa Bay area. This is a map of the Tampa Bay area that has just some of the trees that I've planted. Each one of these dots represents maybe 1, 5, 50, 100 trees at each dot. So if you're wondering what is moringa, because that's the first question, because I got about 50 calls yesterday just asking me, Kendrick, what is moringa? And it seems like that's still the most important question to answer. What is moringa? A lot of people will say, what? Hey, have you ever heard of the moringa tree? The what? I'm wondering what it is. Is it how I say moringa? 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 Moringue? Moringa, malunggay, the miracle tree. In Cambodia, we say lat mok. In Italy, we say benzo olive. In Thailand, it's maroon. In, say, other places around the world too, in Europe, South Asia, horseradish tree. Africa, maybe moloko or yabuti. India, maybe drumstick tree for sure, right? And I didn't even put in here not only morongai, but maroon guy. There was another one. There's in South America, it's merengue. In Indonesia, it's kelor. In China, it's lamu, spicy wood tree. That's what that says, spicy wood tree. So I had a Chinese lady come into the booth one day and she was like, lamu, lamu. And I was like, yeah, is that what this is called? Okay. And I was like, can you write this? And what does it mean? And she said, spicy wood tree. And that goes back to horseradish tree. Saijan in India, shigru in India, shivga, saijana in Trinidad. Saijan, Trinidad. Branoli, so it's oily, right? Or it's benzo olive. I think in Brazil, I know cedra is the cedar tree, but they go palo de aceite, which is something of oil, like palo. I'm not sure exactly, I forgot. Malunggay in Africa. So this miracle tree, like, what is it? It's a worldwide phenomenon. It's something that is sweeping the whole world right now, especially in these times when we need to be growing our food. As one of the most popular plants to grow in your garden, in your food forest, in your backyard. I like to study words. I study everything. I'm a numbers, not a math person, but I'm a numbers person. I'm a artist and symbols, symbology. I love symbols. So let's start with moringa. Duro moringa. Yeah. Cubans, Puerto Ricans, all love moringa, and you notice how I say moringa. That's how a lot of Spanish people will say moringa. So I've done a lot of studying about ancient civilizations and where we come from. I'm interested in knowing about ancient temples and cultures and why we did things, as why we built things and society. It's one of my passions as an architect, is studying the past. Along my studies, I came across a civilization that spanned further back than any other, and one of my teachers, Nine Sun from 13 Love Community, mentioned and mentions about the people that inhabited the earth before, say, modern society. And these people were called Moors. Moors. And you may have heard of the Moors. You may close your eyes and picture what a Moor looks like. Maybe it's an Arabian or a Persian, someone from Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iran, Jordan, someone maybe from the so-called Middle East. You may picture someone like that. What about the capital of the Moors? Today, and even like you hear about the falling of the Moors. There's a place where the Moors reside called Morocco in West Africa. That's where I think that's where the kingdom is, but I think the empire of Morocco supposedly is still here. There's deep-seated and levels to, ownership, land, government, jurisdiction, all layered on top of things, and taxes may go back to entities that we don't even realize are still, getting a cut from the land and the people on the land. A little bit of a side tangent, a little bit of history, a little bit of what I'm interested in, a little bit of insight into Kendrick Henry, and what I think about as is what's attracting me to Moringa so much is that it's named after the people that developed it. It's from moorland, essentially. I could go on about the wordplay and things like that. It's very interesting knowing about the name of America. There's that saying about there was a guy named America, and that may be true. But there's also a name that people gave America before its common name, maybe Al-Morocco, even Al-Morocco, which is the name of America. And I haven't even really studied and looked into this stuff. I just recently, it's been a while, it's been years of studying, and I'm just bringing myself back full circle as to why I'm still talking about Moringa and learning about Moringa, so to teach people what is Moringa. So, breaking down the word Moringa itself into two parts. We have more, which could possibly be the same as more, and then what is Inga? And I thought about this just before coming on live. I think of Incas. Inca, Oh, I know what it was that I just thought of. Oh my gosh. Because I was like, Moringa. And sometimes the more goes to a L. Right? So then we have Molinga. And then I add that second part on the end, lingam. Anyone from India knows what a lingam is. And funny enough, Moringa comes from India. Now, Africans will say Moringa comes from Africa, Indians will say Moringa comes from India. That's because before Africa and India broke off from each other, there was the tree there, and now there's many different varieties, species of the tree within those two regions. the Indians, which now we know the name of Moringa, was developed by the Moors. Close your eyes and think about what a Moor might be. Might be an African, might be an Indian. This is what I was saying, is that our common depiction of what a Moor might be is actually a colonist. You're not actually seeing a real so-called Moor in your head as a picture of what a Moor may look like. I mean, these are these are very dark-skinned African ancestors that go way back and have taught society. I mean, if you look into the Moors of Europe and Germany back in the 1200s, you will see even supposedly Sir Francis Bacon, aka Shakespeare, was a Moor. Beethoven, Hoven Bay, he was a Moor. Supposedly Abraham Lincoln was also a Moor. Barack Obama is a Moor. I'm a Moor. You are a Moor. We're all Moors. Essentially, we go back. Our bloodlines can go way back, and as long as you recognize that we're all family, we're all Moors. Essentially, as this ancient culture people has pretty much spread all corners and reaches of the planet. And that's why I believe the name Moringa is so powerful for me. I think of Praveen Mohan's videos that constantly talk about lingam. And what is a lingam, and why do Indians pour milk over the lingam during rituals, and what is it? Is it a sound chamber? And I actually saw a house yesterday in the shape of a lingam. We delivered 3 moringa trees to Sarasota yesterday, which was really great. And lots of knowledge being shared, and the house actually was in the shape of a lingam. And we walked in, and the first thing that I said was, there's no corners. My energy, my thoughts, my dreams, my words don't get stuck in the shadows of the corner in that house. And I just felt like it was heaven in there. It was so beautiful to feel that emotion, and it just reassures me I'm on the right path with my architecture. I'm studying, I'm learning, what do I want to do, what do I want to build. And I've been saying, like, anything that I build out here is just going to get destroyed by the next hurricane or the next tornado or the next flood. How can I build that's, almost stands the test of time, like a pyramid? I'm so influenced by pyramids and temples, monolithic structures, that this is my life. I'm absorbing it constantly every day. Like, how do I make something that lasts? I love building with concrete. I'm studying how to make formworks and structures that would last, stand the test of time. And that's what Moringa has done. What is Moringa? Moringa is ancient knowledge. So why is it so beneficial? Because Indians and Africans have developed this beautiful moringa tree to be edible. Now, I brought this one over because I wanted to show you how the leaves are yellowing and how I'm just going to pick these yellowing leaves off. She's going to grow up as we continue to pop the tops off. She's going to split. She's going to split, so you can see how we cut the top off and it split there. And I popped those leaves off the other day, and she's going to split again. So the moringa that we see here was developed specifically in India. There are African trees. Moringa trees are in Africa. They're prevalent. They're a little bit different. They look different. They're more bulbous. They have more of a huge tuber, bulby kind of stem with a little mini top, kind of like some of those pictures that you see and you close your eyes and you think of Africa, the Sahara, kind of like these real tall, bulby looking stems with like a little thing on top. That's a species of moringa. Actually, I want to open this up and see what this is inside, because a lot of people are asking, what do I do when I get my cone pots? And so you just want to press. We're pressing this soil kind of at the bottom, and we're going to try to kind of just loosen it up a little bit. You can see I'm just pressing with my thumb all the way around, and then I'm going to shake it down. Hopefully it comes out. I need to put some back into it. Okay, so you gotta kind of have to push it all the way around. Okay, there we go. So the roots are kind of filling up this whole thing, which is great. And as we pull this off, you will start to see a root tuber forming under there. That root tuber right there, that's the gold. Now, by doing this, I'm going to sacrifice this tree particularly. I'll eat this. Super fresh. That's my breakfast. It's all organic, beyond organic, chemical free. I just wish I had a little bit of water. What I'll do is I'll use a little bit of this tea. I'm gonna rinse it off a little bit. This is the crazy part. I see all these not advertisements, and not all these. I just see a few doctors talking about the horseradish or the moringa root. And I don't eat the moringa root. The Chinese, they call this spicy wood tree. Okay. What is moringa? Moringa is an ancient Chinese herb. Yeah. That is used in spices, for its medicinal properties in the root system when it's young, before it has skin. Oh, yes. Oh, ah. Spicy. That'll get you going. What is moringa? Moringa is a natural spice developed by the Moors. It's actually named after the Moors. It's called Moringa, and it's named after the people that developed moringa 5,000 years ago. In India. So the African varieties, they did their thing. Africans did their thing with what they had, with the temperature, with the soil, with the infrastructure, economy, cultures, tribe, politics, and all that. They developed several different varieties of moringa trees all over the entire continent. I mean, this is the largest continent on the planet. People don't even realize that it's like 3 or 4 or 5 or some. I think it's like 6 United States. 6. I mean, it takes us, a week to drive across the U.S. It takes a freaking month to drive across Africa, go from west to east. Holy crap. It's a huge place. And so they developed 12 other different varieties of moringa. Not just nature, not just people, but nature developed these different varieties. But when you go to India, they have this one, this one, this one, this is the one that we eat. This is the one that the world is now producing as the moringa tree. When you say moringa, you don't say necessarily moringa oleifera every time anymore. Before, there might have been moringa stenopetala. There is moringa stenopetala and moringa druhi, and there's like 12 others, and I've looked at them and I'm just like, holy crap. And I'm just studying and learning oleifera right now. So this moringa was developed by the Moors in India over 5,000 years ago to be a high level producing oil productive plant. The best way that they can get oil, because oil is like gold for the skin, for cooking. I mean, this is a staple cooking vegetable that is grown for the vegetable, the drumstick that comes off the tree. And that drumstick has seeds in it that are pressed to make oil. And we put the oil that we press right here from our very own seeds in a machine to make lots of body products and bath bombs and deodorants and salves. Oh my gosh, the salve is amazing. So this moringa from the Moors was developed as like a godly plant that held special powers. I mean, there is a spell on moringa, and it is a good spell, because every time I hear anyone talk about moringa, it's nothing but like this love for your ancestor, for your elder. Like, it's another person in the family. Everyone that tells me, they're like, we use it for this and we use it for that. I might be talking to a Caribbean. I might be talking to someone from Trinidad. I might be talking to somebody from South America. I might be talking to somebody from the Philippines. I might be talking to somebody from Africa, India, Bangladesh, Laos, Cambodia. Any person that I talk to, they're like, we use moringa for this. We use moringa in soups and salads. We make food with it. We make dishes with it. Guys, especially from India, will say, I use it for my you-know-what. It helps me get bigger. Circulation. We've had guys that have had prostate cancer say that it's helped them actually relieve the symptoms, and it could help relieve the symptoms of an inflamed prostate. Moringa has special powers. Indians literally have been using moringa for thousands of years. It's written in one of their most ancient texts, the Mahabharata, and it talks about using moringa in everything, in the garden, in your food, on your skin, on your body. They developed the moringa to be a high-producing, edible vegetable. I mean, yesterday the lady said, oh my gosh, I didn't realize how delicate these leaves really are. Like, she went up to it like, wow. She's never seen something so thin and delicate and papery and light. You can barely feel it in between my fingers. It's so light. That's why we can eat it. That root that I just ate, holy crap, that was spicy. And that's usually the size that you want to eat it, chop it, pickle it. You don't want to have it when it has already like by a year old and it has like skin on it. You don't want to eat it by then. It's already accumulated heavy metals in there, supposedly. So just be on the safer side. But it is used all around the world for different things. The roots, especially even in Chinese herbalism. So thank you for joining us today on Moringa Tea and Answers. I'm Kendrick Henry. I love this moringa tree. I love moringa tea. There's something about it and its history, its past. The name from the Moors, moringa, lingam, is a device that's used in rituals and ceremonies. I believe those two words were brought together from the Moors and the lingam. You can look up Hindu gods like Shiva, and even I said Shiva, Shiva. Holy crap! So Shiva, and then they actually named Moringa Shiva because it's a godly tree, and wow. And Saijana, Anna, is a powerful word. Anna itself, like Anna, the name Anna is a very powerful word, like my grandmother Anna. So just studying the letters and the words, I mean, the miracle tree. What is Moringa? Moringa is, in short, a tropical tree. So it's been developed in India and Africa, so it's very tropical, subtropical. It doesn't like cold or frosts. It's used to help combat malnutrition around the world as a staple food vegetable. And this is one part of the vegetable, the leaves, but also the drumsticks, that can help prevent many diseases and can help prevent many illnesses by consuming just moringa tea daily. Actually, in that book I mentioned, the Mahabharata, it says that there's over 300 known uses for moringa in helping to reduce the symptoms of those different types of ailments. Over 300 ailments. So hypertension, high blood sugars, blood pressure, heart, liver, colon, nervous, you name it. I mean, this is the nervous system. I mean, when this is like my fingers, this right here, this is the nervous system. So you need to eat yourself some more trees, some more plants. It's something very special, this moringa tree, the spirit of this moringa tree. And that's what I was saying, is that everybody's getting up here at the farm. I'm going live right now. Okay, so just want to let everybody know that I'm here doing my thing, and we're on the farm. So yes, we love this moringa tree. What is it? It's a blessing. It's a food. It's a friend. It's a friend in need. We need each other. We've grown and developed moringa together. Man has together to be useful for each other. Every time we harvest the moringa, it produces even more for us, even more food for us. It's so giving. It's so giving, the abundance of moringa. And this is what moringa does, is it helps expel mucus. It's like every morning, my body just like dumps mucus from the day before, from my food. Of course, we eliminate toxins every morning. I'm eliminating every morning. And I can feel it, like just from when I eat, like bread. Sometimes I'll have bread, like I can only do one starch a day, so I'll do like a bread a day, or I'll do rice a day, or I'll do quinoa a day. And usually I find that those next mornings, because I'm so light body, that when I do that, the mucus just comes right out. It doesn't stick to me. It doesn't hold on to me. That's why I don't get sick. I haven't been sick in 7 years. Because I'm constantly cleansing and detoxing and using moringa to help just get all those toxins out every single day. It's amazing. So it's a slight detox. It's a cleanser. It's an oxidator. It oxidizes. That's more about like, what does it do? And so we'll get into that probably tomorrow. Like, what does it do? Today is much more of what is moringa. So we know that it's a tropical tree. It's from South Asia and in India, and it has spread to every corner and reach of the globe. People are growing it in Alaska, in New York. People are growing it in Wisconsin, in greenhouses. We have lots of farmers in Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, Texas that are growing thousands and thousands of moringa trees. In Tallahassee, Florida, North Tallahassee, Panhandle, Mississippi. Everyone is growing moringa trees in those regions on a much more of an annual basis at sizes close to this and not really any bigger. And it's harvested like a vegetable, like a green, topped. Grow it up 30 days. I mean, it only took about 30 days to go from seed to this tree right here, 30 days. What is it? What is moringa? Moringa is the fastest growing tree on the planet. It's not bamboo. It's not a grass. It's not banana. It's not a grass. Moringa is the fastest growing tree in the world. It's a tropical, soft, wooded tree. Very, very soft. Very soft. I mean, it's so soft you can bend it, you can turn it. Like I've used it as archways in gardens. You can bend it completely all the way, and that's what makes it so susceptible to cold weather. And I've mentioned that in some of the previous videos, is that the water will freeze inside of the stem and it will explode. Anytime the temperatures get to frost, it explodes. That's why in northern states and regions of the world that are not as tropical, not as hot throughout the year, you have a much shorter growing season. If it freezes, yes, it freezes here, like maybe one night, maybe 2 nights a year, maybe 3. But that one night might really like put it in shock, and it might blacken up and damage some of the wood, but it'll resprout. It'll resprout. Sometimes you have to cut all the way back to the ground and it'll resprout even again. And so that's what makes moringa so special, is that you can grow it at a younger like a microgreen. And we know microgreens are much more nutrient dense than sometimes even full grown trees. What's crazy is that this is the same exact leaf. This is the same exact leaf that's on a huge moringa tree. It looks exactly the same. So now that I've cut off the first, notice how I cut off the first ones. So the first tier, those were the oldest ones that were cut off. Now it's in its true form and size. Sometimes people be like, oh my gosh, my leaves are so big. Those ones, because they get bigger because they're trying to get that photosynthesis, as the tree is first starting off, and then those are the first ones usually to go off and yellow in it. And then everyone's like, oh my God, what's wrong? My moringa tree is yellowing. And it's okay, moringa yellows. And that's why we want to get people to know what is moringa. Moringa is very sensitive. Yes, it's very resilient in that I could cut it, it'll regrow. I can cut it, it'll regrow. I'll pull this out, eat that root, or I'll pull this root out and I'll have it sitting out for months and it'll stick back in the ground, it'll regrow. You can take a cutting that has bark on it. As long as it has bark on it, you can cut it and you can put it back in the ground, and it'll regrow a whole new tree. So what is moringa? Moringa is resilience. Moringa is adaptation. It's an adaptogen. It adapts to its environment. It adapts inside of your body for uses that you need wherever you may need it. Like, that's why I'm excited to get into what does moringa do, because moringa is unbelievable. That's why we want to first introduce like what is moringa. And it's a spiritual tree that the Indians, the Moors, have developed over thousands of years to be a high production vegetable, an edible vegetable that you can consume every single part of the tree. Like I just ate the roots, the leaves, the drumsticks that come off of the tree, the seeds. You people eat the seeds. Let's eat a seed. Oh my gosh, this thing is crazy. What is moringa? Moringa is a water filtration system. You take these seeds, crush these seeds up like I'm going to do right now in my mouth. Is they help filter water. And crazy thing is that you and I are 99% water. So let's have a little cleanse and a detox. So this is what people, the elders, always come. You know, I use moringa for longevity. Oh yes. So you can eat the shell. Boom, just eat it. I'll eat this one. And look, I love this. What is moringa? Moringa is a flux capacitor. Look at that flux capacitor. You know that in the car, Back to the Future car? That's the flux capacitor. It's magnetic moringa. It's a Spartan helmet. It's a pineal gland, waking you up, pulling those toxins out of your body, pulling those heavy metals out of your body. This is what the seed does. Moringa is so powerful in cleansing and detoxing with intention, and this is why some medical journals and research institutions have warned about the use of moringa, because it can cleanse and detox maybe a little bit too much if you're taking too much. So if you are consuming moringa, please consume it on a small amount and then work your way up and start to see, you know, if it's good for you, if it's right for you. If you tend to say, you know, every time I take moringa, I don't feel good, my stomach, it doesn't feel good, or it makes me go to the bathroom, that's because you're full of shit and you need to go to the bathroom and you need to get it out, and you need to get out of your colon, and you need to let it go and stop holding on to what you have inside. If moringa is making you go to the bathroom, and that's a problem. I couldn't go to the bathroom. I would give to go to the bathroom. For years I would pray that I could go to the bathroom. Get it out. Get those toxins out. Use moringa to help cleanse and detox and get that shit out. You don't want that sitting in there. If you have a little bit of a belly, a little bit of fat, go ahead and use moringa to try to help shed a few of those pounds, because and in moderation, not in high doses like it's the short, like I'm gonna drink a gallon of this a day because in a week from now I'm gonna be cured. No, that's not what I'm saying. Far from it. It's a consistency. I've been taking moringa for 7 years now. I've been using it for 7 years. I've been growing it. I've been learning about it, and I've been using it in moderation. It may seem like I'm drinking a lot, and I may say, you know, I'll use tablespoons. Throughout the whole day, I may consume about 1 tablespoon of powder's worth, and that's throughout all different aspects. And people ask, what's the best way to use moringa? It's what's best for you. Someone might take capsules, someone might take tea, someone might take the oil, someone might take the spice. So some people might take the seeds. Ooh. Strong. It's strong. And I try to eat about a seed a day. I'll tell you what, I have not eaten a seed. Shoot, probably like 2-3 weeks. Wow. Okay. Ooh, what's so great about it? Once I drink this, it's sweet. It was really bitter at first, and then as soon as I drank something, it turned sweet. Wow. That's crazy. So if I break this shell open, what is moringa? Oleifera, developed from India by the Moors. Oh, that's the seed right there. Yes, that's the seed right there. Boom. And it is awesome. It's got like pyramid on it. It's like in the shape of a pyramid already. Dude, it's so freaking awesome. So when you press, so you can just eat this if you don't want to eat the shell. The shell is calcium. You eat that, that's calcium. That's for your bones. That's literally the bones of the moringa. So that calcium is going to be giving you calcium for your bones. But when you press this is where the tree comes from, is from this part. And this is what we press to make the oil. So if we press this actually, oh, no way. You can see it. You can literally see the oil on my finger. Yes, you can. No freaking way. Oh my gosh. It's literally leaking with oil. Awesome. Now, you smell that, and it smells like peanuts. That's oleic acid. That's actually the protein that's found in peanuts. It's one of the amino acids that's also found in moringa seeds, oleic acid, and that's what's so good about it, is that moringa. What is moringa? Moringa is a complete protein. Yeah, what does that mean? Protein? I mean, don't you have to eat a cow or a chicken or an animal for that? No, I mean, I haven't in 7 years, and I have plenty of muscles. Wondering why? Because I consume a lot of protein through plants, plant protein. Moringa has been said to have all 9 essential amino acids. All 9 essential amino acids, making it a complete protein. It even has the other. So what are essential amino acids? So these are the amino acids that our body does not make. So like when we eat things, our body has the ability to grab from this, grab from this, grab from this, and to make something new. Like what's crazy is that chickens have the ability to create calcium out of potassium. And so chickens consume a lot of potassium from, say, like bugs and grubs. But they actually will create calcium. Like their bodies are just creating calcium because of the eggs. And so like they'll just make calcium. And we also have the ability to make things from other things that we pull from. And then we also don't have the ability to do that with some things. So one way for our bodies to consume amino acids that we don't make is by eating animals and by eating plants. And so I'm an A blood type, A positive blood type. It said that, you know, if you do some blood work on yourself and also your past, your history, like I love talking about the past and the history where moringa comes from, because it talks about bloodlines and what you can and cannot eat, the enzymes that are in your body that are breaking down foods, determine what you can and cannot eat. So like a lot of people with O blood type may have problem consuming a lot of greens because they're more acidic in their stomach. I'm an A positive blood type. I may be a lot more alkaline in my stomach, and sometimes the meat that's sitting in my stomach, it doesn't get processed, it doesn't get broken down. The enzymes, I don't have the enzymes to honestly break down meat fast enough, so it sits in my stomach, it gives me pains. It could also be balance, you know, having a little bit of balance of everything. You don't need to be extreme and trust the marketing, you know, that everybody needs to go vegan, but there is a little bit of a balance in between there, and I encourage everybody to have an elimination diet and trust that you can receive protein. If you need to give your body a break and do a little cleanse and a little detox, you can receive all the benefits of protein through moringa. And that's what's so amazing about moringa, is that it's a complete protein. And so Indians have been cultivating moringa. Like, so we were talking about how like you grow moringa maybe in the northern states. You cultivate it much more at a smaller tree, and then every year you just kind of reseed that area and make much more of like a dense um, short crop, in your field, and a line, have a mound and make a line of moringa, like a lettuce, like any kind of crop. And thank you so much again for joining us on today's Moringa Tea and Answers. I'm Kendrick Henry. You can find me at numanursery.com. If you have any questions, you want to call in, call 813-690-6516. It's been really great just kind of going into like, what is moringa? It's something that has the ability to pull up lots of nutrients from the soil, lots of vitamins, minerals. So we talked about it being protein. It has fiber. Here comes Uncle Bob. Hey, say hi, Uncle Bob. He's going to get ready for the day. He's going to start shipping out plants.
Hey, how y'all doing today?
Hey, all right.
Yeah, we're going to get some more of them starter kits and 10 tree orders out today, guys.
Awesome. Thank you, Uncle Bob. Yeah, everyone that's asking about their order, we had over 500 orders within a 3-week period because of the John Kohler video that came out. We literally just got caught up, and then the orders are still coming in consistently. So thank you, everybody, for just trusting that they're coming. And I'm going to get back to everybody shortly about where exactly their order is, because when they order, it may take a few days for it to even process in our system that it's being shipped. And everybody's like, hey, it hasn't even been shipped yet. And that's just because it's myself and Uncle Bob. He has help inside there processing it inside the farmhouse. And we're trying to get moringa out as fast as we can to everybody, because it has calcium, lots of potassium to help build muscles, lots of iron for the blood. If you suffer from anemia, there's a difference between like iron ore, like iron rock, phosphate, and liquid iron that the plants hold. So like, one reason why this is green is because this has lots of iron in it. The Hulk is green. I know for gamma radiation, right? But I'm just using that as a reference. Like Iron Man. Oh yeah, Iron Man. I know they're talking about like steel and iron, but I believe like it's like liquid iron, like from the plants, like spinach, like Popeye. Supposedly, moringa, the Moors were sailors, so Moors were pirates too, and supposedly in the early 1900s there was already a story about moringa being used because it had lots of protein. And the spinach that we eat today was actually developed in the early 1900s from other varieties of spinaches to create like the one that you see in the store that's nice and soft and edible. Well, Popeye was developed by the company that wanted to sell its spinach that was newly developed, and they created this cartoon, Popeye, and they actually picked up a story from the sailors about this plant. And actually, I do believe that moringa is the original story of Popeye the Sailor Man, and these sailors using moringa as they traveled around the world from Africa and India using moringa. So it's got lots of vitamins like carrots, vitamin C, lots of vitamin C like oranges, and protein. And so it's a fast-growing tree. It's something that we can put it in this cone and ship to you, and you can grow it in your own backyard, that you can eat from it every day. You can cut it back consistently. Every time you cut it back, it'll regrow. You can cut it back, you can regrow it. And it's a food source, it's a friend, it's spirit. And I was talking about the name of it what's attracting me to it, and many people, and how they talk about it. They're like, it's like an extended family member to everyone that mentions it. That we use it, in everything. This is what people call me all the time. I'm like, yeah, like, I know. And that's what I usually don't say, like, yeah, I know. I'm duh. Like, that's why I'm here. That's why I'm doing it. No, I'm like, I know it. And it just reassures me that this is why Moringa has been called to me. I'm called to Moringa. Uncle Bob has been called to Moringa because it's something that was so special that missionaries traveled the world and was like, what are like the top things in the world that we could bring back to civilization or the colonists? And over the years, Moringa has traveled to everywhere over the world, around the world. And that's why I don't believe that there is a native or a non-native or an invasive, really. I mean, there are things that can become invasive, like kudzu here in Florida now, that was grown as a starch for baby formula in the early 1900s. Now is just covering trees everywhere. It's gone out of hand. Yes, I understand that. That's why you don't want certain invasive plants in your natural environment to get out, especially in a farming or cultivated practice. If you're growing it up north, Moringa is not going to be able to, withstand the cold temperature. So it's not going to go through years of being able to kind of be out in the wild. Down here, I can understand the concerns, but like I said, out in nature, Moringa is really straggly. It has maybe 1 or 2 drumsticks on it, maybe a couple leaves up top sometimes. It's only when you use it that you're rewarded with the benefits of its abundance. And that's why when you eat it and it splits and it breaks off and it produces even more food. So it was so special that missionaries would travel the world to find the best crops to grow around the world. What are the top 5 crops? I think, of course, rice is one. Some of you may know or not know cassava or yuca. That's a starch that is grown prevalently around the world. Same thing with like potatoes. And there's a few other grains like wheat, and there's like the 5th one, and maybe corn. It's like the top 5 producers of the world. And if you go down that list, a little bit further down that list, people have been trying to figure out what is that next big thing. So we do have record. The state of Florida has been growing Moringa, cultivating it commercially since the early 1900s. And there's a record the state of Florida has from Marion County, which is in Key West. Actually, a specimen of the Moringa cutting in the book. It's dried. It's in this book. It's like this picture. You type in, Moringa, Florida, state of Florida. The state of Florida has a record of it being grown by the state as research as early as the early 1900s. Now bring it back to the 1950s and the 1960s, food shortages, missionaries traveling the world, India and Africa. By the 1970s, an organization brought Moringa to Fort Myers, Florida. A gentleman who started ECHO in Fort Myers, and it's still there today. And it is a worldwide education platform really centered and based around the Moringa tree. You go in there and there's thousands of Moringa trees scattered around the property. It's used as fertilizer, as a living mulch, as a fodder food for their ducks and geese and chickens and goats. And it's used to help feed animals and people. So like people are harvesting it there. They've got dried leaves. They've got seed pods that they're producing. And they actually in the 1970s helped develop one of the strongest strains of Moringa that we're growing throughout the whole world today too. So like they partnered with growers in India and brought the best of the best of the best to Florida. And that's what we're growing, because thanks to Fort Myers and ECHO in Fort Myers, that organization, they helped to develop a strain of moringa that grows really, really good here in the neighborhood. It's short, it's stocky, it's got red. It forms red because that's the beta carotene and the iron that's in there that's pulling out. It turns a little bit red. It's a little bit more compact. It's not like a dwarf, but it stays a little bit more compact, more bushy, and also produces a ton of drumsticks super fast. So the claim to fame with moringa is that it can produce drumsticks within the first year. Look at Uncle Bob. He's sending these out today. These are going out today. How many is that? 1, 2, 3, maybe 300?
Well, actually, probably about 50.
That's about 50. Okay. Well, that's just the first round.
Probably about 120 or so to go out today.
Wow. That's great. 120 starter kits going out today. Boom. Wow. Wow. That's like 1,000 trees. Unbelievable. And we're tracking. We've got a ticker. We're going to 1 million moringa trees, baby. We're doing the Moringa Million Tree March. And we're getting that going with the co-op. And we're going to get people inspired to start growing moringa trees so that we can hit 1 million moringa trees. 1 million moringa trees. We're probably making a good dent right now. I know it's probably only in the thousands that I myself have been able to track. But that's what we're going to do, is we're going to track it. And my goal in my life is to plant 1 million moringa trees. You can help us right now. You can actually you can get 10 of these free moringa trees with each moringa tree starter kit that has the 50 trees inside, or the $60 worth of material inside, all the little sample packs, plus 10 free trees with every starter kit at numanursery.com. And so Echo Farms and Nursery in Fort Myers took what the Indians had already done with the Oleifera and just compounded it to this area, growing specifically, kind of having a little bit of a cold. It's a little bit more resilient to a freeze here and there, because like in India and parts of India, I mean, it doesn't freeze at all, really, I don't think, and unless it's like northern India. But moringa grows everywhere in South India, all over the country there. Moringa, and sometimes most Indians know, but if I talk to an Indian that maybe have spent more time in the States and maybe as a second generation, they may not know. They've already lost their roots from their own ancestors and their own trees, not even really knowing that they themselves are in the title of moringa as Moors. And so this variety that is being grown here in Florida now, and also all over the world, that's been developed by partnering farms and cooperatives, is the PKM1 variety. And supposedly that's the one that I was mentioning that has much more of the seed pod production, short, compact, a little bit more resilient, has a little bit of the red that comes out. What is moringa? Moringa is an hermaphrodite. Moringa has male and female properties when it's young. Only when it gets in a group will one turn female and the others stay male, and they pollinate her and she's full of drumsticks. The others will just have a little drumsticks, or maybe mostly greens, while one, you'll notice in the crew, that's why I say usually plant 3 in a pyramid. Make a room, like put a chair in the middle, put 2 next to you and 1 behind you, and that's about the same spacing as a nice size moringa room. And yeah, I mean, there is just so much to know. There's so much to know. So I get these questions, and that's why we're here at Moringa Tea and Answers. It's a spirit. I think Moringa is with us. Moringa is to help us. It's to bring us into the know about our bodies. Moringa is a gift that keeps on giving. Moringa is very special to me. I first heard of moringa actually from Dr. Sebi in 2013. And from that moment, what Dr. Sebi said goes, like no blood, no starch. You want to get cleansed. And this is when I was really sick, so I was taking it for real. And I was listening to Dr. Sebi and going more plant-based and just cleansing, detoxing, fasting, get your body right, focus on the herbs, focus on yourself, get back to nature. And I hadn't tried moringa or seen moringa ever until actually working here 5 years ago. And for a day's worth of work, they said, "Hey, Kendrick, would you like to take these 80 moringa trees home?" And I was like, those are moringa? No way. And I heard about them, and I was like, wow, like, yeah, what a great opportunity and way to learn about this moringa tree that I had heard of but I had never seen. Wow, those are moringa? And that's what everybody says when they first come up. They look at, at the farmer's market, they're like, what is moringa? And I say, it's a tree. And they're like, really? Well, what does it do? And that's the second question, and we'll answer that one tomorrow. So, what is moringa is usually the number one question. And it's the fastest growing tree in the world. People don't believe me when I say it can be 20 feet tall by the end of the year. They're like, what? I'm like, this tree has the potential to grow that big in perfect environment where it's watered. Yes, it's a tropical tree and it's drought tolerant. It can grow in the desert. It can grow in very extreme conditions. But if you want it to look good, you want it to have lots of greens, get it in a well draining soil. So how do you grow moringa? Well, you want to dig a little hole, and then you also want to fill that hole with a little bit of mulch and soil, and you kind of want to get it a little bit raised up. A little bit, just a little bit. You want to dig a little bit of a hole, and you kind of want to have it up a little bit, so that way it'll settle down into that hole over a year, and so that way it's not down in the hole, but you fill that hole and you've got a little bit of a mound, just slightly. And that's how you can best grow moringa to where it has drainage. It loves Florida sandy soils. I don't know how it does too well in clay, but we're learning and we're getting more information about that coming in. I mean, there are huge farms in Mississippi, Arkansas, Kansas, Alabama, Texas, and North Florida that are growing moringa on thousands and thousands of acres, millions of moringa trees already that are being supplied for large companies. I mean, moringa capita right now, sales is at 4 billion this year. It's going to be at 4 billion. Someone actually called me right after I saw that, and they said, and I think they saw the same thing, and they said, by 2025, moringa is going to be 8 billion around the world. Like, that's huge. It's going through another turmeric. Turmeric about 10 years ago from India as well hit that anti-inflammatory, curcumin, kind of shot up as being really healthy. And moringa's in the same boat. Look, I just ate the tuber of the moringa. It's from India. India's got it going on. I mean, they have developed some really good foods. Like, it's fertile. Everyone's farmers. Not everybody's farmers, but a lot of people are just more connected to the land and farming. So I hope that you learned enough today to kind of get you acclimated as to what is moringa. It's a tree. To me, it's a person. Like, I think of moringa almost as like a mother, as a teacher. It's taught me so much about life and nature, and you can too, and just take your time growing it, using it. I mean, we use it in everything. I drink it every day as a tea, especially. So come back and see us, and I'll talk more about like what does it do to you. It's been really great. My name is Kendrick, and you can reach me at 813-690-6516 if you have any more questions about Moringa. Please don't hesitate to text or call. Message me, comment. Please like this video. Please subscribe to the Numa Nursery YouTube channel. As soon as we get to 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to start going live and answering questions right on YouTube. And so I'm looking forward to doing that with you. If you have any more comments or questions, hopefully I can get to them in a reasonable time. And so let me go ahead and get back to everybody right now that's already been asking. The sun's coming out. Yes. Yes. I was at the beach yesterday. We planted some trees in Sarasota, and that was really lovely. And we spent the rest of the day. The beaches opened up, and we spent the rest of the day on the beach in Sarasota. Awesome. Crazy story. We actually took a stump of moringa out. Like, I have it in the van, and I was like, well, what are we going to use to cover up? Like, we forgot the tents. We forgot, like umbrellas. And so I was like, well, I got this stick, and I got this tablecloth. Maybe we can just kind of make like a tent. And so we grabbed this huge stick, and I grabbed my shovel, and we trucked out to the beach, and I dug a hole and stuck this huge moringa stump in the ground. It's branching out, and then I hooked the tent up to it, and so we had like a little bit of a covering area. And the guy literally walking down the beach walked up to us and was like, hey, what is that? And I'm in the water just chilling, and my girl was like, that's Moringa, and was talking about him and pointing out to the water, that's a farmer, that's a Moringa farmer, and if you have any questions, just look up Moringa, and Kendrick will help answer them for you. So that's what we're doing here at Moringa Tea and Answers. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me anytime. Peace, love, and prosperous growing. The Moringa goat is out. Peace.